Hey everyone, and welcome to Robbie's Backstage Bants. Today, I have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are?
Yeah, hi guys. I am Jonathan Walker Gilland. I currently play Gunther in Friends, the musical parody that's currently on tour in the UK and Ireland. Yeah, that's who I am and that's who I play at the moment.
Woo! So, what is it like? Tell us, what is it like touring the UK with this show?
Okay, so touring in general is always fun and lovely, but touring specifically with this show, so we are a nightly tour, which is different than probably some of the other tours that might be coming around the UK that people might be a bit more familiar with, if that makes sense. Because we're
Mhm.
nightly, it literally means that every single night for 6 nights a week, we are in a different venue. So since January, I think January 25th, we officially opened. We have been in a different venue every night except Mondays because we don't perform on Mondays. That's our day off. Um, except for 2 weeks when we were in Ireland, we spent a week in Dublin and a week in Cork. Which was nice to actually get into a venue, spend a couple of
Yeah,
days there, get familiar. But as far as touring goes, like the nightly is fun. It's lovely. It keeps you on your toes because you're in a new place every single day. You're sound checking every single day. Each venue is going to sound different. So it really starts to make you understand a little bit more of the ins and outs, maybe of sound or of how the tech crew get in and out every single time. And it just makes you really appreciative of your show and your team. And we're getting towards the end now. We've only got 2 weeks left on tour. So there's a little show fatigue that people are like, okay, we've been on the road. This is a tough tour. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun, and I'm not going to complain. After COVID and 2 years of a hiatus, I am very glad to be back and singing my heart out on stage every night. So.
that. It sounds like a wonderful show. Obviously, who isn't a fan of Friends to start with? Like, that's
Well, that was going
already.
to be my question to you. Have you seen Friends? Have you watched all of Friends?
I have a while back, but I have. I need to do a rewatch. I need to do one of them full on sit rewatch. But you know when it's on the
Fair.
telly, random channel, and you just flick through and you're like,
Exactly. But I think
it's one
it's
of
so
them.
relatable. I think it's a show. It's a question that gets asked sort of all the time. Like Friends, it's nostalgic. It's nostalgic because it's a time in our life that we can't get back. It's a time in your
Yeah.
20s that you're not too far from now that you will be getting into. But like you're gonna learn to do laundry on your own. You're gonna learn how to pay rent on your own. You're gonna learn
No.
how to there are so many things that like you're doing for the first time in your life without the support and help of your parents for the
Yeah.
most part. So you're sort of being thrown in there to be an adult. And the nice thing is you're being thrown in there to be an adult with all these other people who are being thrown in there to be adults. And I think that's why Friends in general has done so well over the past 20 years, because it is a time when I think friends become your family. And
Yeah.
maybe you don't call your mother every single day or you're talking to your mother every single day, but you are talking to your friends every single day. And they're your roommates and they're who you're going out and having fun with at night and at the bars and theaters, and it's just you're starting to become that person that you're going to be, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
um so that's, I think, why Friends is so well and why people enjoy it, and why it can be turned into a musical because it is so relatable.
I know how exciting that it's a musical. That's just so cool. So how did you yourself start off as a performer?
Well, it goes way back. How far back do you want to go?
As far back as you want to go.
Well, when I was 3 years old. No, I'm kidding. Well,
Woo!
actually, for me, my family is super religious. So we grew up in church. So for me, it was church choir. It was children's choir. Every Sunday, I would go in and sort of learned notes and the basis and follow
Yeah.
along. And then just sort of built up through the ranks with church choir and then school. And high school, I did started to do more theater or more productions. And then when I think I was a sophomore in high school, we did a choir trip to New York City. And I grew up in Tennessee, so it's many, many states away. It's like me saying, like, London to Greece. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not close by any means. So we took a flight up and we went to see this little show that you've probably never heard before. I actually see it on your back wall called Wicked. And at the time, so I think that was spring of 2006. So at the time, it was only 2, 3 years old. It was still a fairly new musical. And I saw Shoshana Bean as Elphaba and was slightly gutted when we went in because they were like, oh, and the understudy's on tonight for Glinda. And I was like, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. Little beknownst to me, it was Megan Hilty. So my first Broadway experience was like two Broadway legends. And it was a beautiful moment. And for me, I think the like changing moment in my life, which sounds really ridiculous and really stupid, was when Shoshana flew, right? And she started to go up and wail on those notes. I think there was a moment for me that was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I don't need to fly. Clearly, I'm not going to be flying. I am not going to be playing Glinda or Elphaba anytime soon. But it was that feeling that they gave me of wanting to make sure that I could give back to other people and make other people laugh, cry, feel nostalgic, go back to their childhoods, envision a better and brighter future. I think that's, to me, the moment that I knew that I would do theater for the rest of my life, or try to do theater for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So then went back, continued to do plays and musicals at school, and then was looking to go to university. And I applied to actually several different places. Half were for musical theater and half were for landscape architecture. I had thought, okay, two very different worlds. There's one that's like the dream and one that's practical. And I was really trying to decide. I had good money and scholarships to both. So I was just sitting there trying to decide. And my dad, in all of his loveliness, just turned to me and said, you know, landscape architecture will always be there, or the practical option will always be there if you want to go back. He was like, but which one would you be sad and always say, what if? And it was theater. It's what I have always wanted to do. Exactly. You know, it's that dream. It's they don't tell you how hard that dream is, but it is the dream. And so I decided I had a full ride, a full scholarship for musical theater to University of Tulsa in Oklahoma. So I went there, did a 4-year degree, and then in between, it's a little different, I think, in the States than it is in the UK, but in between years, you've basically got a huge summer break. And summer stock, which basically is each theaters across the US will have several shows running at a time in tandem. So you usually get cast in a show that will run for a season. So I did a couple of summer stock seasons during the summers off, which was nice to still be able to perform and work. And then graduated and moved to Texas. Now, that seems like the wrong direction. So Oklahoma is just above Texas and New York is way far away. It seems like the wrong direction, but I got cast directly out of uni in a show called Next to Normal, which I love, and it's a boo-hooer. It makes everybody cry, and it's an emotional one, and it's lovely. So I got cast as Henry and the Gabe understudy in that show, which was nice. And then in the area also got cast soon there afterwards in a show called Spring Awakening. And the girl that I played Natalie with, to my Henry, we swapped. So then I played Melchior and she played Vendla, which was really, really lovely and fun. And while I was down there, I got my equity card. So then that sort of showed, okay, I need to move to New York. I need to try what life is up there. And did the move to New York and lived the Friends life. I lived in an apartment with 6 of my best friends. Huge, lovely apartment. Oh my goodness, watching Friends and doing Friends on stage. It's so nostalgic of my time in New York City. but lived there for about 6 years. And during that time, did summer stock all over the States, did some fun roles, and then jumped on cruise ships. So that was sort of my like change, because cruise ships pay well, in case people didn't know that. They pay well, and there was a new company that was taking over for a Holland America line called RWS. They weren't new in the sense that they were a brand new company, they just were new to cruise ships. So I started on that, which was nice, and did a couple of ships. While on ships, I met my husband, and British. So that is how I ended up in the UK. So we were trying to decide between the States and the UK, and it just sort of made sense for us to move this direction. And once I got into the UK, we sort of settled. I booked a couple of concerts and then booked Friends. And this was 2019. So I'm so excited, finally getting my like UK, start and career. It's like up and okay, here we go. And then COVID. So it did slow things down a little bit. We had to readjust and re-examine. But we always knew the production company that we work for was very upfront, and they said they knew they wanted to come back the moment they felt that it was safe. Yeah, so the moment that they were like, it's safe to come back, we will come back. So it's been absolutely lovely to be back on stage, be back on tour. But it's a roundabout way. I've been in many different places. I've been on the sea, I've been on land, I've been all over. But I'm just thankful to be able to perform again every night. So.
Yeah, of course. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about the show as it is? What does it bring?
So Friends, the musical parody, is basically exactly how it sounds. It is all 10 seasons crammed into one show. It is the moment, you've said you've seen it, so I'm not spoiling anything. It is her coming in the wedding dress at the beginning, all the way to her not getting on the plane and coming back at the end. And everything in between is us trying to fit in as many of the references and that you love, while also having a little bit of fun with it. It is a parody. It's also a tribute. I don't think that we are too mean in anything that we do. But we are the show. Like there is lots of people like ask, oh, don't give anything away. And I'm like, if you've seen Friends, you know exactly what's going to happen. It's just putting it in an order which makes it really funny and really enjoyable. Yeah. Saying that though, I think it's really well written in the sense that if you know the show really well, you're going to love it. If you know a bit about it, you're still going to enjoy it. My mother-in-law had never seen Friends before I got cast. And we sat down and watched a couple of episodes. And even with 2 or 3 episodes from season 1, she understood the characters because she was also alive during the time and knows the actors themselves who play Friends. So we comment on that a little bit as well. So it's a good combination of things. And if you're a musical theater fan, there are little hints to Rent and Chicago and a little bit of Hamilton. So there's little bits in there for people to enjoy as well. Not that they have to know that, but I do think it's a little cherry on top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds amazing and wonderful. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, you are coming to Stockton Globe this month.
We are.
That is this month.
I think we're coming there next Tuesday. So very soon.
The 25th?
Yes.
The 25th. So if you're around Stockton Globe, get yourself there. Go and see. I mean, are you excited? Have you ever been to Stockton before?
I haven't been to Stockton proper, but that's right around Newcastle, isn't it?
Not far. Close enough.
So we've done a couple of the places right around Newcastle, which was lovely. And that part of the country is just absolutely stunning. So we're excited to get back down there and do a little exploration.
Northeast. What a place to be. That's you'll have a great time. I mean, it's a gorgeous theatre. Like,
that's what's so surprising to me. I mean, I don't think it should be surprising, but there are some stunning theaters all across the UK. You go into some of these tiny, tiny little towns, which are beautiful, but you would not expect this ginormous Victorian, beautiful theater. So I think that's one of the things that I've loved most about traveling around the UK with a show like this that is nightly, because we are seeing so many stunning places around the UK.
Yeah.
So I feel very, very blessed to be able to explore and discover so much.
A lot. There's so many stunning theaters around, it's lovely. And I bet it's great exploring each and every one of them and getting to bring your show to that as well. So one last thing before we finish, why should people come and see the show?
I think, first of all, if you're a Friends fan, you're going to love it.
Well,
I mean, that's simple, right? There's no if, ands, or buts about it. If you like Friends, you're going to love this show. But in general, why should you see a show? Because one, to support live theater again and to get back out there. That's really important right now in a post-COVID time. Secondly, it's a great night out with your friends. If you are looking for that night out, we've all just gone through a craziness of 2 years of quiet and hard times. And I think right now people just want to get out and laugh. And I think that's what this show brings. Every single night we get to get out there and we hear people enjoying themselves, but you also hear people with belly laughs, like full on. And it makes our hearts so happy to hear people enjoying themselves so much. And so I think that's it. If you want to have a good night out and you want to have a good night out with friends and enjoy yourself and have some laughs, then we're the show for you.
Absolutely. And that is a great place to end on. So I just wanted to thank anyone who's watched this for watching this episode and learning a little bit more about this incredible new musical. And also, I wanted to thank you for joining me, because it's been an absolute pleasure having a little chat. As always.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you all in the next episode.